So I'll first of all welcome Dr. Chaya Chauhan, Dr. Ms. Aditi and Mr. Rushi for the webinar. Thank you for arranging this for the Tamil Institute of Medical Sciences. And this is in fact the first step in our collaboration. And it's going to be a very successful webinar, I hope. By the end of the webinar, we'll know about it. I'll first of all welcome Dr. Chaya Chauhan. She's the manager of incubation at BIRAC, and she's currently leading the BioNest, that is Bioincubators, a nurturing enterprise for scaling technologies program at BIRAC, and which is mandated to establish bioincubators across the country for providing support and nutriting ecosystem for biotech startups. She holds a PhD in biosciences and has over 5 years of experience in the field of parasitology, virology, and immunology, and has experience on working and implementation of national programs such as National Polio Surveillance Program and H1N1 outbreak for National Center of Disease Control, Delhi. She has worked for 2 years as manager for the Make in India initiative of Government of India for the biotech sector in BIRAC. At BIRAC, and her role was focused at facilitating and promoting investments in the Indian biotechnology sector. And she was also responsible for the implementation of the Startup India Action Plan for Biotechnology Center that endeavors to nurture biotech focus startups in India. So I welcome Dr. Chaya Chauhan, and I'll request her to please give her a talk. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, Dr. Chaya.
Thank you, Dr. Puneet. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you for a warm welcome. And thank you to the organizers for hosting this Global Bio India Roadshow. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Just let me know when the screen is visible.
It's visible, Chaya. We can see your screen, Chaya.
Okay, I'll start. So thank you for hosting the Global Bio India Roadshow. This is a mega congregation of biotechnology stakeholders. That is the Global Bio India event. The first edition of this event was organized in November, and the organizers are Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, along with its public sector undertaking BIRAC. And our organizing partners are CII, ABLE, and Invest India. The second edition of Global Bio India is happening on 1st to 3rd of March 2021 through a digital platform. So before starting with my presentation, I would request all the participants to kindly visit the website of Global Bio India and register for this mega event as soon as possible. Kindly do not wait for the last date for registration, but register at the earliest. So before giving you an overview of what Global Bio India event is, I will just give a brief introduction about BIRAC, my organization. So BIRAC is Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. It was set up by Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, in the year 2012, with the mandate to support startups and entrepreneurs in the biotechnology area. Basically, this agency empowers, enables, and provides support to the biotech innovation ecosystem. The support is provided through promoting entrepreneurship. We have various funding schemes wherein we provide grants, investment opportunities, We also provide support through creating incubation centers. We have around 53 incubation centers in India, which are biotech focused. We also provide mentorship related support related to technical, business, regulatory, and IP aspects. We also provide recognition at recognition opportunities for startups and entrepreneurs at various national and international platforms. So the subsectors wherein BIRAC supports are healthcare related, agriculture, industrial, clean energy, sanitation, and waste management. So not just these subsectors which are listed over here, we anything that is related to biotechnology, we provide support to those sectors. This is a slide wherein I'm giving a snapshot of the various schemes that BIRAC has and also the funding that we offer. So we have schemes from Sitare, which is to provide support to research, students and researchers for just ideation level, wherein we provide 15 lakh fellowships and grants. Then we have the flagship BIG scheme, about which Aditi would be talking about later. This is our one of the flagship schemes, which is Biotechnology Ignition Grant Scheme. In this scheme, we provide 50 lakhs support to startups and entrepreneurs. Then we have SBIRI, BIPP, wherein we support for validation and pre-commercialization activities. We have Seed and Leap, which are the equity schemes which are operationalized through our incubation partners. We also provide, product commercialization support up to 5 CR. And then we have another, funding scheme, that is equity scheme through ACE Fund Partners, wherein we provide support up to 7 CR. So you will see that since having an idea up till the product commercialization, we have the whole gamut of schemes. If throughout the product commercialization cycle. So if you have have an idea which is worth worth considering and worth the support, BIRAC has all the resources for helping you taking your product to the market. So it's in addition to the funding support that BIRAC provides, which is very important, we also provide support through our incubation centers, which are basically landing space for the budding startups and entrepreneurs. IIT Kanpur Bio Incubator is one of the incubators supported by BIRAC. And we also provide mentorship support through our vast mentor pool. We also help in field testing, validation, piloting. We provide those opportunities also. Stakeholder connects, which are very important, connects with investors and facilitators, with government stakeholders, policy initiatives, policy changes required. So we also seek suggestions with regards to that. We also have mission-based programs wherein we support through specific missions. So this is the snapshot of what BIRAC has been doing since its inception. The slide will give you an overview of what we have done till now since BIRAC was born. So we have around 150 products and technologies that are commercialized and are in market. We have more than 200 plus IPs that have been filed and supported more than 1,500 startups and entrepreneurs. We have provided funding support of more than 2,000 crores. And we have, I'm happy to share that we have more than 50 bio incubators, that is focused biotech based incubators across the country. So these are some of the highlights that BIRAC has been able to achieve till now. This is just a snapshot of the products that are in market. These are not all. We have, as I stated earlier, we have more than 150 products in market. So these are just some of the snapshots of the products that are in market as of now. This is the highlights of, so now I had talked about BIRAC. Now I would just give you a brief about the Global Bio India 2019 that happened. The event was a success as we had more than 2,500 delegates that participated in the event. We had more than 600 companies. 800 plus bio-partnering meetings happened during that mega event. We had more than 200 exhibitors who showcased, at that event. The event was a physical event and happened at Delhi in the Aerocity from 21st to 23rd November in 2019. So more than 75 incubators participated in the event. These are some of the pictures which you can see, and these are some of the opportunities that happen over there, like investors roundtables, states connects, bio partnering, startup pavilions are there. Then we also have various government officials, ministers. Those dialogues also happen over there. CEO roundtables. We have B2B, B2G, G2G meetings happening at one single place. So this is just to give you the overview of how the event had, how our first edition of the Global Bio India happened in 2019. So this is about the second edition, that is Global Bio India 2021. Since the biotech sector is recognized as one of the main drivers for contributing in India's economy, economy for the target of USD 5 trillion that has been given to us for 2024. So biotech sector has been recognized as one of the main drivers for contributing towards that target. So so this is basically what all is happening. The Department of Biotechnology, through its public sector undertaking, is organizing this Global Bio India, and the event is expected to draw more than 5,000 plus delegates from across, across the globe, not just India, but across the globe, connecting Indian biotechnology ecosystem with the international system. So just to give you a brief overview of, Destination India, we are the number one, I'm very proud to say this, that we are number one supplier of DPT, BCG and measles vaccines globally. We are second highest number of we have second highest number of US FDA approved manufacturing plants outside India. And we are third largest biotech destination in the Asia Pacific region. We have more than 100 biotechnology incubators. Apart from the BIRAC supported ones, we have others as well. We have more than 3,500 startups that are biotech based. So this is what our, where we stand today. However, I also wanted to share that only 3% of, the total biotech industry, this is the percentage that we share as of now. So by organizing these events and by contributing towards biotechnology, we have to increase this share in the global percentage as well. So this is also, snapshot of where we are. This is by, survey by Institute of Competitiveness for the year 2020. We are 12th globally positioned and third position in Asia. And this I've already mentioned. We have, outside of US, we have second highest number of US FDA approved manufacturing plants, 600 plus core biotech companies. We are the largest vaccine manufacturer, and this has been shown during the COVID era also. I think the entire globe now recognizes India as the vaccine manufacturer, as not only we are serving our population, but we are also helping other countries with the vaccines. So, okay, so this is about the event at, glance, just a glance of the event. We'll have more than 200 exhibitors, 50 plus countries are expected to join. We'll have more than 5,000 delegates. We'll have, media interactions, B2B, B2G, G2G meetings, CEO roundtables, all anything a budding startup entrepreneur or industry companies can expect. So we have all those events happening at one place. So why do we exhibit over there? So exhibition provides an opportunity for personal networking. You'll have a global presence. You'll be globally recognized, and you'll have you'll get an opportunity to enhance your product portfolio. You'll have more than 5,000 delegates visiting the event, so they'll get to know about your product technology or about your institute, about your incubator. You will have funding opportunities, linkages with you'll get a hold of investors. So all those things will be you can avail through exhibiting over there. So these are the charges which I've displayed. And if you visit the Global Bio India website also, you can see over there also. So for a startup, researcher or entrepreneur, it is only INR 2000, which will also give you, one account for bio partnering. So taxes will be applicable for that, but this will give you an opportunity to exhibit and for one account for bio partnering. Similarly, for incubators, institutes, and investors, MSMEs, you will have to pay 5,000, which will give you a chance to exhibit and two accounts for bio partnering, and this is for the large industry. So I would just tell you a brief about what is biopartnering. So biopartnering, we are using a very high-end, solution that is the Innova platform, which is being coordinated by Able. So for this, you have to create your organization. When you, when they receive the payment, they'll give you a link, and wherein you can create your organization's profile. You will mark your availability, search other organizations with whom you want to interact and meet, and then you can send and accept meeting requests and attend your meetings very seamlessly. So it is a very very useful tool wherein you can partner, and you can meet other like-minded organizations and investors, stakeholders, anybody who you want to interact with. So this is just a snapshot of who should be attending this event. You should have, large industries, SMEs, startups, entrepreneurs, then enterprises who are looking for business partners, investors, international and, national officials, regulatory agencies, clinicians, institutions, and if anybody related to biotechnology, I would say, should attend this event. So it is useful for everybody who has any relationship with the word bio. They should be attending this event. So registration is free. So attending the event is free, so free of cost. So you don't have to travel to any place. This is through a virtual platform. So I don't think you should be missing this chance of uh, attending and listening to esteemed speakers, panelists, and everybody who's who of biotech industry and field. So okay, so my slides have ended, and this is I would just take a minute to say that this is being coordinated by the Make in India Facilitation Cell, which is at BIRAC. And if you have any queries, you can visit the Global Bio India website. You can write to them on this email ID. and there's a phone number also listed over here. So I am here and I would be available for any questions related to the Global Bio India event, and also related to BIRAC schemes. Thank you. Over to you, Aditi and Dr. Puneet.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chaya ma'am, on giving us the insight on the program. It will definitely be helpful for all the faculties here, and we'll also promote this program in our institute through various channels which are there. Even though we don't have much of attendance here, but we'll definitely endorse it through our faculty and students to make them to make them aware of the event, as well as to register for the same. We thank you for giving the valuable insight in that domain, and thank you so much for your words. So I'll now want to Miss Aditi for the next part of our event. So Dr. Miss Aditi Kumar, she's a trained experimental developmental biologist, and she has obtained her MTech from Department of Biological Sciences and Bioengineering, IIT Kanpur, and she has been working at SIIC IIT Kanpur for over the years, and is currently the assistant VP of the bio programs. So and she's accompanied with Mr. Rushi Aditya. He's a young professional and is assisted, and he's carrying out his BIG program related activities at IIT Kanpur, and also is part of the portfolio management team. So I'll request and invite Ms. Aditi Kumar to tell us more about BIG.
Thank you, Dr. Puneet, for such a kind introduction. And thanks, Chaya, for enlightening the entire audience about the fantastic work that BIRAC has been doing since its inception. Trust me, guys, BIRAC has been the key enabler in promoting entrepreneurship, especially in the domain of biotech related entrepreneurship, because bio is not an easy domain. There's a lot of capital intensive investment required in terms of product development, and just developing the product is not enough. There's a whole period of validating the product thoroughly on the field, in the hospital, which requires a lot of efforts in terms of money as well as the manpower. So they've been able to support the entrepreneurs at different level or stages of their entrepreneur journey. So they just do not stop with one scheme or the other scheme. As Chaya demonstrated, they've got a fantastic pool of schemes to keep the support continuous and ensure that the entrepreneurs are able to take their product eventually into the market and create the impact with which they started their journey. So thanks, Chaya. Thank you so much. And I'm sure at least 50% of the people in the audience would register for the Global Bio India event. Coming back to myself, I'm Aditi, as Dr. Puneet already introduced, and I'm part of the Startup Incubation and Innovation Center at IIT Kanpur, which is the technology business incubator. I'm currently looking after the bio-related programs as well as initiatives, and SIIC it's been the place where which converts the ideas into products. We facilitate that conversion, and we have been into this business for last 20 years. So we happen to be one of the oldest incubation centers in the country. And over these years, we have supported more than 150 startups. We've been quite pro about promoting women in the domain of entrepreneurship and innovation. So we have supported 50 women-led enterprises, and the startups who have been supported by us have been further able to create an impact not only with the product and innovation that they have developed, but also by creating high skilled jobs for the manpower. So they have been able to create over 3,000 jobs for different kind of people. And yes, they've been able to raise follow on funding. And SIIC is a sector agnostic incubation center, which basically means we support any startup which has a deep tech innovative idea. And that idea could be from any domain. It could be from biotechnology, it could be from clean energy, it could be from agriculture, it could be from hardcore uh, hardware related products. So we've been able to support and nurture startups coming from different domains. In fact, we are now coming up with a center of excellence in cybersecurity to promote entrepreneurship, particularly in the domain of cybersecurity and AI. As you can see, our startups are always making into the news every now and then. Our startups, their work get celebrated and appreciated by renowned uh, personalities of the country. They make it into Forbes 30 under 30 list or 40 under 40 list. Our women entrepreneurs are making to the top 10, top 15 women entrepreneurs of the country. So how are we able to achieve that? I would cover that segment in next couple of slides. But before I go into that, last year when the pandemic hit the country, and the whole nation was under lockdown, we did not stop our operation. In fact, pandemic came as a boon for the incubation center, because we were able to support three of our startups in translating their much needed products. So one of our startup, Noco Robotics, was able to develop a full-fledged ICU ventilator within a matter of 90 days. Then another startup, Eastern Nanotech, they developed N95 mask, which can be seen worn by our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. He first won it during the inauguration ceremony of Ayodhya temple. Then another startup called Cupro Health Tech, they've developed a smart disinfection chamber. And again, all of this was happening at the peak of the lockdown, when there were no operations, there were no manpower, etc. So we facilitated every required resource to these startups so that they can simply focus on developing the product and taking it to the market. Then there were certain attempts made by our faculty members, as well as the uh, research students who were there on the campus, for developing PPE kits. Um, so we tried to capture the learnings and the best practices we learned during the ventilator project, and we have compiled them in the form of this book called The Ventilator Project. It is now out on Amazon. It's available for pre-ordering. So if you simply scan this QR code, you would be redirected to the Amazon link. And uh, please do order a copy for yourself. Although I would be sending a signed copy to Dr. Puneet for DMIMS institution. But for all of you in the audience, this is not a very technical book. It has basically compiled our experience and the struggles we've had in covering the journey of developing this ventilator, right from the design to the market. What were the hurdles we overcome in terms of the regulatory haziness we had to go through, raising funding, and etc etc. So this is a very I'm sure you will like it. I happen to co-author, like I happen to author one of the chapters in the book, but keeping that aside, it's been authored by two of our board members. One is Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, and another is Mr. Shrikant Shastri. So yeah, I would request all of you to order a copy for yourself and enjoy the reading. And so how SISC have been able to do so much in terms of supporting so many number of startups, or startups getting successful in terms of getting recognition from the government, from the customer, etc. So over these years, we've been able to establish a fantastic innovation ecosystem, which comprises of the 5 I's of innovation. That is, we've got good infrastructure, and a lot of credit goes for that goes to BIRAC, because BIRAC has very generously supported the establishment of bio incubator at SIIC. They have also sponsored a facility for testing, for conducting EMI and EMC testing, which is one of the crucial tests which are done for any medical device, or any other device for that matter. Then they've also supported establishing of a rapid medtech prototyping facility at IIT Kanpur. So if you just come with an idea to us, we have a plethora of the resources available to ensure that we would be able to translate that idea into a tangible product. Then coming to the second I, we have been able to generate an exhaustive pool of funding programs to again help these startups at different stages of the product development. We've got good network with comprising of industrial connects, hospital clinical connects. Then we have collaboration with Bureau of Indian Standards. So we work very closely with all the policymakers as well. In terms of initiatives, every now and then SIIC IIT Kanpur is coming up with one or the other initiative to support entrepreneurs in developing the next generation innovations, especially in the medical or health tech space. And since IIT Kanpur has been there for almost 60 to 62 years, we've been able to establish fantastic engineering departments who not only are able to do groundbreaking fundamental research, but they are also able to translate those research into commercializable products. So these 5 I's of innovation ecosystem uh, ensure that whoever startups we believe in, we are able to make them successful. And as I was saying, over these years, we've been able to develop a fantastic pool of funding programs, just like BIRAC supports you at different stages of your product development. We also do that. We have got ideation scheme fundings in terms of fellowship-based program. We have got prototyping schemes. And SIIC has been facilitating these government funding schemes for quite some time. We also facilitate some of the private funding schemes, and we have our own funding mechanism to support these startups. We call them IITK Innovation Support. So it can be either in terms of a fellowship based support or a seed support to commercialize your product. This webinar is dedicated primarily to one of these schemes of BIRAC that we facilitate for them. It's called Biotechnology Ignition Grant, and as Chaya said in her presentation, it is one of the flagship schemes of BIRAC, with which they are trying to support any entrepreneur who already has a startup, or who is just about to start his entrepreneur journey as an individual innovator. So either a startup or an individual innovator can avail BIG scheme. The deadline for this scheme was 15th February. Now it has been extended to 15th March. So 15th March 2021 is the deadline for applying to this scheme. And BIRAC calls for this particular scheme twice a year. One is a winter call, the other one is a summer call. So the next call after this BIG 18th call would happen in July 2021. So with this scheme, BIRAC supports the establishment of a proof of concept followed by its validation. So for example, if you're trying to develop, let's say, a device to detect a particular sort of cancer. So it could be either a diagnostic device, or it could be a screening device. So the stage at which you can consider applying for BIG is when you have identified that a particular method of detection or a particular technology for detection can be used to detect cancer X. So that's the stage when you can apply for BIG to further establish the proof of concept for that particular methodology. Some preliminary data is always preferred when you're applying for BIG. So let's say if you're using NIR technology to develop to detect cancer X. So you should have some preliminary data, at least the particular wavelength at which you are able to differentiate between the normal tissue and the cancerous tissue. And the whole proposal could be further validating that at this particular wavelength within NIR region, we are able to differentiate between normal cell and the cancerous cell, and based on that we now want to develop a particular device. So as a part of the proposal, you should submit that this wavelength is the one which is good enough for the detection, and some CAD model of the device. So this should be your preliminary data for applying to BIG, while as the name suggests that it is for igniting the fire of innovation. But because BIG has become quite competitive over the years now, having an idea is not sufficient. You should have some preliminary data to convince the evaluation committee that the idea that you are proposing is good enough and should be promoted, should be encouraged and supported. So as Shai was saying, BIRAC supports anything which is related to biotechnology. Same thing is applicable for BIG as well. For the sake of today's audience, I would focus all my examples, etc., in health tech domain. And now, since the whole world is advancing towards digitalization, of which AI, ML, and IoT are some of the critical technologies. So now BIRAC also supports AI, ML, and IoT based solutions under BIG, as long as their application falls under the category or the theme supported by BIRAC. So coming to some of the examples or some of the proposals who have got BIG funding in the past. So I would give you a flavor of what sort of work gets supported under BIG. So as you can see on the left is a handheld brain hemorrhage detection device. So they got funded under BIG. They applied as a startup. Then on the second example is of by Professor Harlal Mali. So he applied as a faculty member of MNIT Jaipur, but he convinced the committee that he will not stop there. He has already established his startup company. He is now championing the formation of entrepreneurship policy at his institution. So now he is a professor, a full-time founder of a startup company working on developing an orthosis for clubfoot disease, which is quite prominent amongst newborns and the children. So BIRAC just not provide the money to translate your idea, but there are non-tangible impact that BIRAC has been able to create with BIG. For example, in case of Professor Harlal Mali, now he is the one who is promoting entrepreneurship within MNIT Jaipur. He is the first case, and now he is developing the policy and promoting other fellow colleagues as well as students to try their hand at entrepreneurship with a solid tech idea. Then we have Intignis Biotech. So they're trying to develop a diagnostic kit for detecting preeclampsia condition, which is quite prominent and frequent amongst pregnant women, and is one of the leading cause for stillbirth among the pregnant women. Then, because Dr. Puneet mentioned that they are coming up with a tissue engineering centric center as well. So in past, Dr. Neha Arya, whose expertise is into tissue engineering, she's also been able to secure BIG funding, and the proposal for which she applied for was to develop a tissue engineering based screening platform for screening the drugs who would have better who would be more efficient in chemotherapy. So for example, for breast cancer there are 10 drugs which are prescribed for any cancer patient, but the response to that particular drug would vary from patient to patient. So this platform basically helps in deciding which drug would work for which patient. So this was the project which has been supported by BIG. It is currently ongoing. Then we have another startup called Arna Biomedical. What they've developed is a breast prosthesis, which is extremely low cost as well as very lightweight, and it is for the women who have gone breast cancer patient who have gone mastectomy. So again, a very social innovation, and you might think that there is not much innovation or technical novelty in this, because but trust me, there are a lot of intensive research that has gone into developing this particular prosthesis in terms of the material design, the shapes, the size, and now the startup is developing the prosthesis on the basis of different skin tones to cater to different type of population across the globe. Maybe I'll skip this part because these are some of the examples from industrial biotechnology and agriculture. So I would skip these case studies. Coming back to how you should apply to BIG, the whole process is online. All you need to do is go to BIRAC website, create your own account, and start filling the application form. It is mandatory to select or channelize your BIG application through one of the 8 BIG partners. So particularly in case of BIG, BIRAC operates through 8 BIG partners, and SIC IT Kanpur is one of these 8 BIG partners. So we facilitate the whole application process, evaluation process for BIRAC. And it is mandatory to select one of these 8 BIG partners for your application. So these BIG partners, we help you in, before submission, we help you in fine tuning your proposal, in building up your team, in connecting with the, certain advisors if that is required, etc. So, and post submission, we continue this mentoring process till the time you secure the funding. Uh, and this particular slide Chaya has already talked about, so I will not emphasize why it is important to apply to BIG, because BIG is a fantastic way to enter into the BIRAC ecosystem, and I'm sure now you realize the the breadth and length and height of the ecosystem that BIRAC has been able to create. So once you get BIG funding, your chances of securing follow-on funding increases drastically, and not just among the BIRAC ecosystem, even the private investors, both angel investors and VCs, look you with a certain amount of respect if you have won the BIG grant, because only 10% of the total number of applicants receive BIG funding. So the competition is quite cutthroat. Coming to how these 50 lakh rupees are distributed, they're distributed quite well amongst different budget heads. So you can buy equipment for on your own. You can hire manpower for conducting the BIG project objectives. You can buy consumables. You also get money for filing the patent. You get money, small amount of money from 2 to 3 lakh rupees to attend various networking events. So had it been a normal year, you would have been able to utilize the BIG funding for attending events like Global Bio India. So BIRAC understands why the importance of networking and traveling. So you get some funding for that as well. And you can outsource some part of the BIG project, and you can utilize BIG funding for getting some part of the work outsourced as well to a third party. The evaluation criteria is quite stringent. The committee members focus primarily on three things. One, there has to be a technical innovation in the work that you are proposing. Number two, you should have an interdisciplinary team. Team is very, very important. And as you can see, 20% of the weightage is given to teams. So if you've got a strong team, the chances are very high you can secure BIG funding. And third, there has to be a clear-cut commercialization plan for selling your developed innovation or product. Um, if you have a fantastic idea, but there is no commercialization plan or there's no commercialization value, you will never be able to get BIG. So BIG, unlike BIG is not a research grant, although the funding is utilized for doing R&D for your product, but it is not a research grant. The idea should be sellable. You should be able to make money by selling it, and that's what BIRAC is trying to do with BIG. Coming to the second half of the presentation, now you've heard about BIRAC, you've heard about BIG, you've heard somewhat about SIIC as well, but why you should choose SIIC as your BIG partner? Because I have already talked about the ecosystem that we have at SIIC IIT Kanpur, but I thought maybe if I include case studies and give you real life example, that would be more impactful. So when I said that at SIIC we come up with initiatives every now and then to build the ecosystem. So uh, Summer Clinical Immersion Program is one of the initiatives that we run with KGMU, King George's Medical University, Lucknow. So wherein basically as a part of the program, a batch of 10 to 15 students is selected. They stay at KGMU, they shadow doctors, they identify the clinical problems that the doctor face in terms of uh, screening the patient, diagnosing the patient, or anything related. So any problem that the doctors are facing in their routine life, the students were asked to identify those problems. Once that clinical immersion program, clinical immersion at KGMU is over, they come back to campus, they discuss those problem statements with our team. We narrow down to a set of 2 to 3 problem statements, and for the remaining summer period, which is of 1.5 months, the students develop a particular concept and a working prototype to solve that problem. So one of the team identified the problem of vaginal examination. It is recommended that every healthy woman less than 30 to 35 years should get examined every once in 2 years, and women above 35 should get examined once a year. And if you have any condition, you should get it routinely examined. But nobody follows these prescriptions because the whole process is quite discomforting, uncomfortable for the patient. So this was the problem which was identified by the student, and then they're trying to develop a vaginal examination endoscope which is user friendly, does not cause any pain to the patient, to the patient. And they applied for BIG, they got the BIG funding. Then same happened for the pre-eclampsia team. In their first attempt, they did not get BIG, but because we believed in the team, we believed in their idea, we enrolled them under our accelerator program, provided them intensive business as well as technical mentoring. They applied again and they got the BIG funding. Something similar happened with Ruby Gupta as well as Sarthak. Uh, Ruby, when she applied for the first time, she did not have any preliminary data. But again, we believed in her idea. We provided her entrepreneurship in residence fellowship, with the help of which she was able to develop some preliminary data. She was able to generate the data. She showed it to the BIG committee, applied again, and got the funding. Something similar happened with Sarthak. We enrolled him under accelerator program, then provided Prayas funding of 10 lakh rupees. He applied for BIG, secure the funding. As I mentioned earlier, SIC also has a fantastic pool of technical as well as business mentors who are constantly helping the startups, our innovators. So I thought I'll just give you a glimpse of the mentors we have on board with us. They spread across different domain, and that was all for the day. Please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A box. The whole session is being recorded and it would be streamed on our YouTube channel, Incubator IITK. You can come back maybe tomorrow or day after and you'll see the recording it's been uploaded. So yes, over to you, Dr. Puneet. I would stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, thank you, Aditi. Thanks a lot for giving us the insight in how exactly SIICs can help us and support the potential people, entrepreneurs in applying for BIG and various other programs at SIIC. And I hope that it has been very useful for the attendees to know about the various aspects which are going on at SIIC and how they are supporting, how your people are supporting young entrepreneurs in their journey, and what are the various aspects which can be done. As you discussed regarding the BIG, big grant, will definitely be connecting you with the people who are interested in actually putting in or going and applying for BIG this time. I'm very fortunate to share with you that we actually last time also we applied, and one or two projects are actually shortlisted. One is actually shortlisted and they'll be presenting maybe tomorrow.
Oh yes, the TVs are going on. Yes.
Yeah. So that is there. Fingers crossed for that. And that's all from my side. Thank you again. Thank you, Aditi and Rushi. I'll request the attendees and participants, if they have any queries, they can just quickly post it on the chat box so that we can have, yeah.
Dr. Puneet, yeah, so I see a query in the chat box. It's from Nilesh Rathi. So how can we collaborate with the faculty in IIT Kanpur? He is asking.
Okay, so all you need to do is just drop in an email to me. My email ID is bioincubator@iitk. Rishi will put it in the chat box. You can simply write to us and maybe share a one-pager of the idea that you want to work with or collaborate on with our faculty members, and I would certainly take it up with the faculty members. That's perfectly it's quite feasible. Then I think someone posted in the chat box, Rishi. It's by Dr. Nilima. She wants to know, is there any structured performer available for applying for grants? So Dr. Nilima, as far as BIG is concerned, the whole application process is online, as I stated earlier, but we have created an offline version of the application form. So we now already have your email ID with us. So Rishi would send you the offline version of that application form, and you can have a look at it and share the first draft of your proposal with us by first week of March, so that we can revise, fine tune it. As far as the other schemes which are facilitated by SIIC, as far as those are concerned, all you need to do is simply visit us at sicincubator.com, go to programs, and you can see the list of the programs, and whichever program you find suitable, you can simply fill out the application form available on the website and we get the entries. I hope that answered your question, Dr. Nilima. Someone raised the hand. I wasn't sure who would raise it. Whoever raised the hand, can you please raise it again? Okay, maybe it was by mistake.
So I'll request the participants again. If you have any questions, you can type it in the Q&A section or in the chat box. We are almost at the end of our stipulated time, actually.
Yes. Okay. Maybe we don't have any more questions.
Yeah, so if I do say get any questions from the faculty members, I'll definitely forward it to you, Aditi and Rishi. And I think Dr. Chaya already left. I don't know.
Yeah, she just texted me. She lost her internet connection.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, fine. So hope there are no questions, I guess.
So I've already shared the bioincubator's email ID in the chat box.
Yes,
so if anybody has any query, so they can reach out to us anytime, and we'll be, help with anything that you need. And the BIG's deadline is on 15th March. So if you have a proposal, if you want to submit a proposal, please let us know. Please send a one-pager or maybe a full proposal to us on this email ID, and we'll see how can we help you in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that brings us to the end of our session. I'll thank Ms. Aditi and Ms. Rushi for their support and for arranging this event, and for giving us the insight in at the various programs and various facility at SIIC IT Kanpur. And also I'll request Aditi to say convey my regards and my thanks to Dr. Chaya also.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, and thank you. And also
an ID with you, Dr. Puneet. Maybe you can drop her an official email thanking her.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll do that. That will be.
Rishi would send her email ID.
Yeah, sure. So
and yes, we'll stay connected, Dr. Puneet.
Yeah,
I'll try to plan
we
some
trips, many things to come. Yeah.
Yes, certainly. This is just the starting point.
Yeah, sure. So I thank all the attendees, all the participants for their for attending this session and for their continued support to us. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Rishi. Bye, Aditi.